In this quick video guide, we're going to see how we can import a 3D Studio Max file inside Blender and continue to work in Blender. So the first thing we need is a add-on that it's already inside, already pre-installed into Blender 4.0 and later versions. So I'm gonna go here to Edit. I'm gonna go to Preferences, and here you wanna look for 3DS. So you can see that this one here, it's already activated. Otherwise, you just need to check on this little checkbox, and that's it. Now, remember that there could be also some issues while doing imports and export, but let's see if everything works. So now we need a 3ds file. If you don't have a 3ds file, maybe it was sent to you, maybe you use 3D Studio Max, so you can create your own just by file, exporting, and exporting the in 3ds format. Otherwise, you can get a free sample from the web. Now, a website that offers 3D models in 3ds format and other formats is Free Polygon 3ds. So I'm just going to go here on the first link. You can search by using those words, and the website is actually called freepolygon.com. So I'm gonna skip here the subscribing in the mailing list, and you can see we have like so many models here, so many different categories. I'm gonna go for this one here, first one on the line. So you see that the formats here are 3ds, FBX, and 3D Studio Max. Now, if you own 3D Studio Max, you can open these using that software. Otherwise, you need to download it in FBX or 3ds. So I'm gonna go for 3ds. And I created a folder here, which I called 3ds format, and I'm gonna save it in here. So I'm gonna call these, let's call it Villa Savoie, Le Corbusier. So this is an architectural model. I'm gonna save it, and there it is. Just gonna wait. You can see the 3ds file now is in there. Now this is just an example. You'll find many websites that offer these different types of formats. Now, if we use Blender, we could also use FBX instead of 3ds. But in this video, we're just going to concentrate on this type of import and file format. So now back in the Blender and go again in the file and import. And now you should see this last one at the bottom. It's called 3D Studio, and that's the one you want to have when using a 3D as file format. So I'm going to click there, navigate in the folder where I stored the model I've just downloaded. There it is, and just go. And well, let's have a look here in the parameters on the right. So we have the possibility to import animation, cursor origin. We can import the world or environment, the mesh, which are the 3D objects, the lights, the cameras, and the empty objects. Or we can just hold the shift key and select everything. Now, there is also an image search. If there are images linked to that file, you can do that as well. Otherwise, we're just gonna keep it as it is. Then you can constrain the size. We can use the scene units. Um, and all these other settings. Well, make sure you have the up, it's on the Z, and that's it. I think this is gonna be good enough. Let's import and let's see what's gonna happen here. So if it's a big file, of course, we need to wait a little bit more. And that's it. So we starting to having some information on the right side. We don't see anything in here. Well, probably because this is either too big or too small. So this is why you can maybe try to do more imports. So let's try again. Let's go to File, Import 3D Studio. And in this case, I want to deactivate scene units. And let's say that if this works better. Also, I'm going to uncheck everything. I'm just going to leave it as it is. And there you go. That's the one. So let's import again. And let's see if something changes. We can see something here. And we have 8 materials. But still, we don't see anything in the scene. So let's make a test. Let's delete the cube here. And let's select that only mesh that it's in the scene. So before it was like divided into pieces. So now it's a single piece. And let's go here to view and let's do frame selected. Okay, so we should be there, but nothing is visible. Well, something just appears and disappears real quickly. So my guess is that this is too small. Now let's see here. If we open up the sidebar, you can press the N key to open this up, or you can just click and drag. And if you want to learn more about um, Blender, you can also check the Blender video course, by the way. So I'm looking at the dimensions here, and they look really big, as you can see. So probably this was conceived in centimeters or millimeters, and now it's way too big. So it's so big that it doesn't fit in the view. So what I can do is go in the view and change here the clip start and the clip end. So if something is too big or too small, usually is not visible clearly in the view. You can fix this right away to adjust and see if something changes. Now again, if I select this, go to view and frame selected, now we can see it, but is there you go. So it's still is problematic. So what we need to do is decrease the size of this. Now we can do it right away here, or we can do it just by scaling with the scale tool. So I'm going to start to scale down this until you can see now it's 7,000 meters. So guess these were like millimeters. So you can change also the scale from here. Just need to do some math, or you just go with some try. So I'm going to go with the 0.001 in all directions. And well, now it's still big for a house. So let's try maybe to make it even smaller. We don't really know what's the scale here, so just need to guess. I'm adding another 0. So again, let's do view and frame selected. Okay, now it's not visible at all. Let's try to take off at 0. And again, let's do view and make sure you select the object actually and go to frame selected. There you go. Now we can start to see something, and doesn't look great. But we need to understand this is a problem of visualization or of the model. And well, let's decrease it again. Let's make it, let's put another 0 in there. Okay, and let's do view, frame selected. And now let's try to add an environment. Let's try to increase the environment. Let's try also here to deactivate the scene world so we can see a little bit better. Well, it looks fine. It looks a little bit flickering, but I guess that's the adjustment that we did for the view. So let's try to go to object, apply, and scale. And let's put this also near the origin. So location on the X and the Z, let's type 0 and 0. So it now should be near the origin. Again, frame selected. Let's try to do a render using cycles. Well, it does look fine. So sometimes the flickering is just caused by the almost overlapping phases, but I guess that happened because we resized this a lot, but in the rendering, it looks fine. So just going to show you another example here with the file that I created. So be careful when you create the file. In Blender, the units are meters. So just try to save that in meters also from 3DStudio. Now this is an export I've done from Cinema 4D to SketchUp in 3ds. So there are other software, and by the way, you'll find all this software in the channel if you're interested. Just type Cinema 4D or SketchUp or Revit or 3ds. You'll find all the courses and the lessons in there. So you can see right now this looks fine. These are all objects created again in Cinema 4D and then exported in Mesh to be used in SketchUp, but we can use it also in here as long as it's a 3ds format. Now another issue you may notice is the smooth. Now in that case, to fix that, right click and do shade flat if you want flat surfaces. So this will be all for this video guide. I hope you enjoyed. I hope it helps you to solve some of the issues related to importing files from 3ds Max. If you want to thank us, please join the channel as a supporter and see you in the next video guide.